All right, let's dive into the world of AI and Web3. You've sent over a bunch of articles about some pretty cool tools. It seems like there's AI for everything these days. We've got AI that can audit smart contracts, platforms for marketing and development. There's even one that's like a personal guide to the whole Web3 universe.
Yeah, it's really amazing to see how AI is being used in so many different ways in Web3. I think these tools have the potential to really empower people and kind of reshape the whole Web3 landscape.
For sure, for sure. One area that really caught my eye was the AI-powered smart contract auditing. Security is a big deal in Web3, so these AI auditors seem like they could be a game changer.
Oh, absolutely. Smart contracts are like the foundation of Web3, so making sure they're secure is super important. These new tools are going way beyond just basic checks. They're using really sophisticated algorithms to find vulnerabilities that humans could easily miss.
That makes sense. Like, I was reading about the 0x0 AI smart contract auditor. It's free and gives you instant audits. I imagine that's a huge help for developers who need quick feedback without, sacrificing security.
It definitely speeds things up. And the fact that it's free means more developers can use it. It's part of this trend of making powerful tools available to everyone, not just big companies.
Right, right. Another one that stood out to me was Fortify. It's constantly monitoring smart contracts, looking for problems, and it even suggests solutions. I mean, that could save developers so much time and hassle.
Fortify's analysis is really impressive. They have this huge database of known vulnerabilities, and they keep it updated as new threats pop up. Plus, their AI can spot patterns that might signal a vulnerability, even if it's something totally new.
Wow, that's pretty wild, especially with new attacks appearing all the time. It's like having a watchdog that never sleeps, guarding your code. Then there's Anchain AI, which is interesting because it's used by law enforcement and regulators to track crypto crime. It adds a whole other layer to this, don't you think?
Definitely. Anchain AI shows how important security is becoming in Web3. As more money flows through these systems, the stakes get higher. The fact that law enforcement is using AI tools like this shows how seriously they're taking crypto crime.
It's a good reminder that as Web3 grows, so do the threats. And these AI tools are becoming essential for keeping things safe and trustworthy.
For sure. We also can't forget about Olympics.
Yeah.
It integrates directly with GitHub to scan code in real time for vulnerabilities. It's a great example of how AI is becoming a core part of development, not just an afterthought.
Yeah, it's like having an AI co-pilot looking over your shoulder as you write code, catching mistakes before they even become problems. It feels like we're moving beyond just fixing vulnerabilities, like we're entering an era of proactive security.
Exactly. And it's not just about security either. Some of these AI tools are offering a much wider range of functions, like 0x1 AI tools, for example. They've created a whole set of tools specifically for the Ethereum community.
That sounds intriguing. What kind of tools are we talking about here?
Well, they have things like Rug Killer. It monitors tokens and warns users about potential scams like rug pulls.
Oh, wow. That's super valuable, especially with new tokens popping up constantly. It's like having an AI detective on the case looking for anything suspicious.
Exactly. They also have Ghost Trexen, which is focused on privacy, and Gem Scouter, which helps you find wallets that could be profitable.
So it's not just about protecting yourself. It's also about using AI to, understand market trends and maybe make better investment decisions.
Exactly. And that's just scratching the surface of what 0x1 AI tools can do. They have tools for generating code, tracking your portfolio, even swapping tokens. It's a really comprehensive suite.
It sounds like they're covering a lot of ground, offering something for just about everyone in the Ethereum world. Speaking of comprehensive solutions, there's also GPT Guru, right? It seems like it can help with pretty much everything, from creating dApps and tokenomics to developing AI-powered trading strategies.
GPT Guru is a really fascinating example of how AI can empower people in Web3. Imagine having a personalized AI mentor to guide you through building a dApp, or designing a token economy, or creating complex trading algorithms.
That's a pretty powerful idea. It really shows how AI can make Web3 more accessible to everyone. It's like having a personalized toolkit for navigating the complexities of this whole world.
Exactly.
We've been talking a lot about tools for developers and traders, but what about the more creative side of Web3? Like, what about the people building brands and communities? Are there AI tools for them too?
Oh, absolutely. AI is proving to be super valuable for that kind of stuff. Take Ojamo, for example. It's a platform that helps Web3 projects with their branding and marketing.
Okay, so how does AI even help with branding and marketing? It seems like those are pretty human-centered things.
Well, Ojamo uses AI to, analyze a ton of data. It looks for trends, understands how people are feeling about things. It can even predict how well different marketing strategies might work. It's almost like having an AI market research team that never sleeps.
Wow, that's incredible. It sounds like it could give Web3 projects a real advantage,
Hmm.
especially the ones that, maybe don't have the money for a big marketing team.
Exactly. And it's not just about reaching more people, it's about reaching the right people. Ojamu can tailor the messaging, target specific groups, even personalize content. It increases the chances of actually connecting with potential users or investors.
So it's like an AI whisperer guiding you toward the best way to communicate your project's value. That's pretty cool. Speaking of tools that empower creators, I'm also curious about FormsFlow AI. It's not just for Web3, but it sounds like it has a lot of potential in this space.
Yeah, FormsFlow AI is a great example of how AI is changing things across different industries. At its heart, it's a low-code development platform.
Low-code development. For those of us who aren't exactly coding wizards, what does that even mean, and why is it important for Web3?
Sure. So low-code platforms basically let people build software without needing to know a lot of coding. They give you these visual interfaces and pre-built components that you can drag and drop to create different functions. Kind of like building with digital Legos.
Ah, I get it. So someone with basic coding skills could potentially build a DApp or a Web3 application using FormsFlow AI.
Exactly. That's why it could be so disruptive in Web3. It empowers all these creators, artists, entrepreneurs who have great ideas, but they might not have the technical skills to bring those ideas to life with traditional coding.
That's a game changer, for sure. It could unleash a whole new wave of creativity in Web3. We've talked about a lot of different tools today, but there's one I want to go back to for a second. ARC AI. Seems like it's more than just an auditor, right? It's like a learning companion for Web3.
You're right. ARC AI is definitely unique. It combines code auditing with a conversational AI interface. You can actually chat with ARC AI, ask it questions about Web3, and get answers in plain English.
So it's like having an AI tutor who can break things down for you and guide you through all the complicated stuff in Web3. That's got to be super helpful for people who are new to all this.
Definitely. It's a great way to learn about different protocols, how the ecosystem works. You can even get insights into specific projects or tokens. It's all about making Web3 knowledge more accessible.
It seems like there's a common thread here with all these tools. AI is not just about automating things or being more efficient. It's also about empowering people, making complex information easier to understand,
Right.
and lowering the barriers to entry for everyone.
I couldn't agree more. That's what makes this whole space so exciting. We're seeing this combination of cutting-edge tech and this passionate community, all driven by this desire to build a better future, a future that's more decentralized, more transparent, more equitable.
It's like we're witnessing the birth of a new digital renaissance, and AI is playing a central role. But with all this talk about democratization and empowerment, there's also a potential downside, right? What about the people who don't have access to these tools, or who don't have the skills to use them effectively?
That's a really important point. It's something we need to be very aware of as we move forward. Just because these tools exist doesn't mean everyone can benefit from them.
Right, so it's not just about building the tools, it's also about making sure everyone can use them. It's about education, outreach, and creating a level playing field.
Exactly. It's about building a more inclusive culture and giving everyone the opportunity to be part of this new digital frontier, no matter what their background is.
It's like we're building a new city, and we need to make sure it works for everyone, not just the people who can afford the fanciest tools or have the most specialized skills.
I love that analogy, and it reminds us that the future of Web3 isn't set in stone. We're building it together through the choices we make.
We've covered a lot of ground today, and it's clear that AI is having a huge impact on Web3. But as we move forward, we need to remember that AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Absolutely. The decisions we make today will shape the future of Web3. It's up to all of us, developers, users, investors, policymakers, to make sure AI is used responsibly and ethically, to create a world that's more just, equitable, and empowering for everyone.
That's a powerful message to keep in mind as we continue to explore this incredible space. We'll be back in a bit to wrap up our deep dive with some final thoughts. We talked about a whole bunch of AI tools for Web3, from auditing smart contracts to marketing, even low-code development. It really seems like these tools can change how we build and use this technology.
Yeah, it's been amazing to unpack all of this stuff with you. I mean, there's so many different ways AI is being used.
Absolutely. One thing I keep coming back to is the long-term impact of all this.
Yeah.
How do you see these AI tools shaping the future of Web3?
That's a great question. I think AI is going to be a huge part of bringing Web3 to the masses. Making it easier to use, more secure, opening up new possibilities. All of that will make Web3 more attractive to more people.
Yeah, I see that. It's like the early days of the internet, when browsers and search engines made it easy for anyone to go online. Could AI be the thing that bridges that gap between the techies and everyone else?
I think that's a really good analogy. AI can help demystify Web3, make it easier to understand and use.
And it's not just about bringing in more users, it's also about changing how we build in this space.
Yeah.
Think about low-code development, for example. It could lead to this explosion of creativity. People who don't know how to code could build their own Web3 projects.
Exactly. Imagine artists, entrepreneurs, community organizers. They could all build their own platforms, tokens, applications, without needing to be programmers. That's the kind of future AI and low-code development could create.
That's amazing. But with any powerful technology, there are always risks. What are some of the challenges we might face as AI gets more integrated into Web3?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is transparency. As these AI systems get more complex, we need to understand how they're making decisions. And we need to make sure those decisions align with our values.
So it's not enough to just build the tools. We also need to use them responsibly and ethically. It's about balancing innovation with the needs of the community.
Exactly. And that means we need to have an open dialogue. Developers, users, policymakers, everyone needs to work together. We need to establish guidelines, best practices for using AI in Web3.
Like we're building a new society. And
Right.
we need to make sure the rules are fair and everyone can participate.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
It shows that the future of Web3 isn't set in stone. It's something we're building together.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive. We've talked about the incredible potential of AI in Web3, and we've also acknowledged the challenges and responsibilities that come with it.
It's been great exploring all of this with you. I really believe we can create a better future with AI. A future that's more decentralized, transparent, and equitable.
To our listeners, we encourage you to keep exploring this space. Dive into those articles, experiment with the tools, join the conversation. The future of Web3 is being written right now, and you can be a part of it.